in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. On a Monday, over the weekend, we honored our Olympic champions, gold medal winner Aaron Jackson and bronze medal winners Brittany Bowe and Joey Mantilla. And on the phone with me now is my old broadcast partner. We've been around almost every every press box in Marion County. We've worked together. Plus, we've done a lot of radio on Southern Pigskin tonight. He is the Director of Networking and Executive Engagement at the CEP, Tom James. Tom James, how are you, buddy?
Johnny Flowers is, we're there.
Well, if he has boiled peanuts.
That's right.
It's cleared up. Johnny Flowers got boiled peanuts. I'm hanging out with him.
We're in.
The only Marion County official I actually like. Let's be honest.
He's a great guy.
He really is. He really is a good guy. Tom, how are you, buddy?
Good, my friend. Always good to hear you. We go way back.
We do go way back to 2010, 2011, I believe, was the first year we did high school football together.
Yeah, I want to say it was 2012.
2012.
So we're going on 10 years of being buddies, and I just congratulate you on all your success with the show at WOCA. It's spectacular, better than ever.
I appreciate it. They offered me this job right after Larry and Robin, and I go, no, I saw how Coach Zook followed Spurrier. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. Not following legends, because Larry and Robin were legends in this community. Not following a legend.
They were.
Yeah.
They were, but you have your own spin, your own personality, your own approach. It's all Schmitty all the time,
yeah,
and people love it.
I got people hanging up on me left and right. It's fantastic.
Couldn't ask for much more than that.
So let's talk for a minute about the festivities over the weekend. The Olympians came in Friday. They came in Thursday. They were escorted from the Orlando airport into town. They woke up bright and early, had a breakfast that they attended, and then a Q&A session with you from 8 to 9. For those that weren't in attendance at the Q&A session, what was your take on that? What did you learn about these three people that you may not have known up to that point?
We had so much fun with those guys Friday morning at our breakfast that was put on by the CEP and
at Church of Hope.
At Church of Hope, our Olympic Celebration Committee had worked over the past several weeks to a month to make a couple of days of fun for them, and that was one of the things that we wanted to do, is have a little panel interview with Aaron and Britt and Joey and find out about them more than just the stuff we already know, the stuff that we found out on the Olympics coverage on NBC, which was great, but give us the backstory. Let's rewind in time and find out how the heck this whole thing started. How did the horse capital of the world become the speed skating capital of the world when it's 80, 90 degrees and there's no ice?
None. The closest ice rink to us is Orlando.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and the answer to that question is it really started in inline skating and with the tremendous coach, Renee Hildebrand, who has worked with so many great kids in this area with that. And she was the one that got them started. And they went on to greatness when they traded those in for the Blades. And now they're world class. But really, they pointed to her in the front row on the first question I asked them. They credited her.
Well, and it's not just those three. Anybody that came through her skating tutelage talk about how she's talked about in the same way with that with the group of inline skaters, and no matter what their abilities, in the same way that Jim Yancey is talked about by golfers that came through Muni. You see that look in their eye where this person had such a profound impact on my life that I will be in my 40s, 50s, and 60s and still treasure the time I had with that person. You see that with golfers in Marion County all the time, no matter what how good they are. And that's the same look that you see skaters give to Coach Hildebrand what she's done.
I think that's a great parallel, Schmitty, because anybody in my generation that grew up in Ocala, a few years older than me and several years younger than me, there's a whole age bracket that stretches 20, 30, 40 years, that the only reason you know which end of a golf club to hold was because of Jim Yancey and the golf lessons every single summer at Muni.
And
Renee Hildebrand for the skaters, I'll give you that one. That's great.
She's the exact same influence on the skating community, and a very large skating community in this. Were you surprised to find just how much depth there was in the skating community here in Marion County, Ocala?
Yeah, well, that's one of the things I asked them about was, you hear about kids, they play baseball, they play basketball, football, soccer, tennis, golf. Is the skating more of a niche sport? And they said, yeah, probably in the perception it is. But there are, in the terms of the numbers, there are just a tremendous number of kids that have gotten involved with it and have benefited from the experience. So it's not a small group.
Now it's come a long way. The skating rink, speed skating teams have come a long way. Because I remember when I was a floor guard at 15 at Playland Skate Rink on Buford Highway in Atlanta, and I had on my black speed skates and everything, and my speed was slow, SLOW, slow. But you had those clunky big skates on and everything. These inline skates have changed the anatomy of speed skating on the roller rink side of it.
They have. I want to share with you an observation that I made along those lines downtown Saturday afternoon with the parade, which was wonderful. I saw, I want to say, a good 10, 15 kids, not all together, that were rolling around the square on inline skates. And I said to the person standing next to me, I said, they're the next.
Yeah.
They're the next. And they all had their Brittany Bowe or their Jackson or their Joey T-shirts on, and there was the next generation right before our eyes idolizing these Olympians from Ocala, wanting to be just like them.
Well, remember, we had the best person on the planet in her discipline and two of the top 3 people on the planet in their discipline right here from Ocala.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about the best in Florida, not the best in Marion County, not the best in the United States, the best on the planet.
On the planet. One of the things that was so poignant about this Olympics, Brittany Bowe giving up her spot in the 50 to Aaron Jackson, who, by the way, came into the Olympics as the world's number 1,
right,
the favorite to win the 50, had a fluky stumble in the trials and didn't qualify. So Brittany Bowe, knowing how good Aaron is at that event, did one of the most selfless things I think I've ever seen. Gave up her spot to Aaron Jackson so that, in fact, she could compete in that race in Beijing in the Olympics. And the moment that happened, I think the rest of the speed skaters that were going to compete in that was about the worst news they could ever hear. In fact, we do now have to contend with Aaron Jackson after all. Great. So we're all playing for second place now, right?
Right.
But we asked them about that Friday morning at the breakfast, and Brittany said, it took me all of about 5 minutes to make that decision, because we were all stunned by the fact that what happened in the trials happened. But, they all agreed, this could happen to anybody at any time. It happened. Look at Michaela Schifrin in the downhill and the moguls. So this stuff can happen. And, of course, Aaron was just very touched by it. Both of them teared up when we asked them about that Friday morning. And then what does Aaron Jackson do? She makes the absolute best of an awesome opportunity and did what most people thought she was going to do in the beginning in that event in the Olympics, and that's win gold.
And it just it's one of those quirky things that the U.S. Olympic team does. Not all countries do it this way, but it's one of the quirky things the U.S. Olympic team does. Its best athlete can have a bump in the road and not qualify in the discipline they're scheduled to be participating in, and that's part of the agony of when we were growing up, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. That's part of it. That's part of it. And Erin has been gracious in her thanks to Brittany, and Brittany's been gracious in, it really wasn't that big a deal, folks. She was the best in the world. She had a small hiccup, and it was a no-brainer to give her my spot because it was really her spot to have.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Were you able to go after the breakfast and all? Did you go to the roller skating rink with the throngs of people that went to the roller skating rink? Did you go to that event as well?
No, I didn't, and they had a busy schedule. Each of them visited their respective high school alma maters. For Aaron Jackson, it was Forest High. For Joey, it was Vanguard, Trinity Catholic for Brittany. So they did a tour of each of those schools. They went to Howard Academy. Later on in the day, Aaron Jackson visited the Black History Museum here. They certainly honored her there.
She was inducted into the Marion County Black History Museum.
Yes, and I mean, honestly, it was a whirlwind 2 days for them, staying out at the World Equestrian Center and lots of different lunches and events and dinners. I asked him Friday morning, I mean, like, have you guys had a chance to breathe at all? Because they went right from the Olympics to the World Cup events in the Netherlands, and now they're traveling. Aaron Jackson had to fly out yesterday morning out of Orlando at 7:30 to go to the Oscars. She was a special invitee to the Oscars after party. So they said no. What is downtime?
Yeah. Well, remember Aaron
that
Jackson.
was their question to me. So
remember Aaron Jackson after she won the gold medal, while Brittany and Joey were still competing in their disciplines because the long course was coming up. Aaron flew back to New York, did the whole morning show tour and everything before she went and joined them in the Netherlands for the World Cup events they had to do. It's been constant. But the reason I ask about the roller skating rink and the event, there's a nice picture in the Star banner taken by Dougie Fresh, by the way.
Yes.
It's a great picture.
Best in the business.
For those that don't know who Dougie Fresh is, that's your fault, not mine and Tom's. So there's a picture where Brittany's on her skates, Joey's on his skates, Aaron's on her skates. There's kids and all in skates. And there's the Dapper Don, dressed to the nines, but he doesn't have skates on. I'd have gave anything to see the sharpest dressed mayor in the United States with a pair of skates on. That would have been great.
We should have made that happen somehow. Yeah, agreed.
Although
the tailored suit.
He'd had the best looking skates there too, probably if he'd have been.
Without question.
So then let's talk about. Then it culminated with a parade that started from Webb Field on the square to the presenting of the keys to the city and everything. First off, whoever's on this parade committee, to get an act of God done to close US 441, amazing. But the parade took had the big pirate ship there and everything. I saw some video of it. Really, really cool parade, and then it goes to the square where they're presented with the keys to the city.
I'm going to tell you, all of the folks that attended the parade were just so thrilled to be there. Very, very energetic. And kudos to Sue Mosley, who is the parade guru around this town, and she made that all happen, along with the city, the county, all part of our committee that we had to make this weekend all that it was, and being able to close those roads down to cross Pine. Yes, you're right, an act of God, but it happened. Everything ran smoothly and right on schedule. But I think that the Olympians were so touched by all the accolades that they got, and to look out into the crowd. It was a good crowd out there, and it's so much pride about Ocala and how these three made it to world-class status. And it was really pretty heartwarming and made us all proud to be Ocalans. I can tell you that much.
Tom James, he was the MC of events at the breakfast where he had a Q&A with the 3 Olympians. He's the director of networking and executive engagement for the CEP. Tom, any truth behind the rumor that you may put the old speed skates back on from when you were a teenager and give it a try?
Well, the funny part of what you just said is put them back on.
You can't. Don't tell me
they were ever on.
Don't tell me you can't roller skate.
No, listen. My mom and dad threw me a birthday party at a roller skating rink here in Ocala. If any old Ocalans out there remember Fun Spot skating rink just across the railroad tracks down by the train station, no longer in existence, of course. I had a birthday party there, probably my 9th, 10th birthday. So I could roller skate in the day, but never beyond that, my man.
Yeah, I roller skated all the way up till I was about 20. And I went to a Christmas party that Mojo's was throwing for its employees and invited guests about 6 years ago, and put the skates back on, went 3 times around the rink, fell twice, and my calves hurt so bad that I thought I needed surgery. Hadn't been
Funny
back
how
since.
you fall out of skating shape pretty quickly.
Yeah, hadn't been back since. Tom James, thanks for taking some time out with us out of your busy schedule to talk to us, and we'll talk to you again soon. I'm sure we'll have something that we need to talk to CEP about, and I'll just see if I can get you instead of somebody else with more knowledge. I'll just stick with you.
Anytime, my friend.
Hey, by the way, buddy, if you'll do me one favor, if you'll tell everybody you see that I said have a good night, everybody.
Of course I will.
Tom James, thanks, buddy.
See ya.
Tom James of the CEP. Him and I did quite a bit of radio together over the years. We'll be right back after this short timeout to wrap up hour number 2 of Ocala Talks, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Bow time. Ever taste something so good